everybody. Today I'm going to be going over Snookums from the Lane Kusanagi OSCP list from Proving Grounds. It's a very cool lab on web exploitation. It has a remote file injection vulnerability that you use in order to execute malicious code in order to get a reverse shell. And then once you get the reverse shell, you end up finding SQL database credentials hidden inside of the www directory because you're logged in as Apache, you're not logged in as a real member. And then utilizing that, access the MySQL database from inside, and get some credentials, decode them, log in as a user who ends up having some misconfigured permissions for the etc password file. So yeah, let's get into it. So I went ahead and put this, I already did the nmap command, but I've got sudo nmap scripts and versions, T4 because it's fast, all ports, and output nmap format to the directory and call it Snookums. And this is the thing, so I've already ran this, so let's go ahead and cat this. So starting from the top, first things, my mentality going into this was I noticed anonymous FTP login. That's the first thing I noticed. Then came SSH and an open, it's open and it has a version right here. The version is not vulnerable to anything, so it's not worth checking. Next, we got HTTP port. And it's running Apache, non-vulnerable version of Apache, and non-vulnerable version of PHP, but there is something here. Next, I also noticed that there is a MySQL server running on the computer. Yeah, so the first thing I usually do is check this out. I already checked it out, and I showed, so I can show you actually. Oh, sorry, I was trying to resize my terminal earlier. That's embarrassing. Okay, so yeah, so we get in here and then we just go as anonymous, no password, voila, right? We go to help, we can see all the commands. However, there's probably a firewall set up on the other side, and I assume that because when I run commands like dir, it ends up extended passive mode, and I did a little research and it said that might be the cause, and like other things such as ls, nothing. So it's not worth staying in there, I don't think. There wasn't anything that I could pull. So the next thing is to check out the HTTP. So what I like to do first when I see an HTTP is I run what web, because it allows me to kind of see the full stack of the website. While that's running, I like to, oh hey, what's going on here? What? That was weird. Anyways, while that's running, I like to, oh, this is embarrassing. I have to do a zoom reset. Okay, see, that's normal. I don't know why it was being weird. Anyways, while that's happening, and it's already done, I'm gonna run Ferrex Buster. And I like to do that, and then I like to add the word list, user share word lists. Which one is it? Right, dirbuster, dirbust, and oh, my bad. That wasn't the one that I was going to. I meant to say dirb, just dirb, and then big.txt. Let that run. Oh, my apologies. Let me change this real quick. What I meant to add is scan directory. I think it's scan directory listings. Scan dir listings. Yeah. So the reason I add this like scan dir listings at the end to this tool is because this allows it to be recursive. So when it finds a directory, it'll recursively search each of those. So yeah, I'll let that run. And as you see up here at the top, we've got basically everything that we saw before: HTML5, Apache 2.4.6, PHP 5.4.16, the IP address, Lightbox. It's cool. That's something. And then the actual title of the website. Cool. So, looks like this Ferrix Buster is almost done. So we'll wait for that to happen. Okay, I got a little impatient. I'm just going to go ahead and start going through these. So, JavaScript, CSS, images. Not really seeing much. A lot of images stuff here. Donate. Box. Bullet. BG checker. Next. Just a bunch of random stuff. So we've also got documents and settings, but looks like we can't visit there. Images again, JavaScript, some redirects, but that's completely normal. Looks like we got a CGI bin, but that's not accessible to us. And I know this isn't a vulnerable version of Apache to that, so Modern Mom, you know. Oh, okay, that's it. So yeah, so guess we might as well check out this website. So the first thing that we see is there's a bunch of images, and it looks like a British meal because of all the beans and toast. Anyways, so yeah, so I also use this tool called Wabalizer to catch anything I might have missed in WhatWeb. It's usually the exact same, so I don't know. I kind of switched to WhatWeb just so that way I could kind of get two terminal commands out of the way with that and Ferrix Buster, but yeah. So as we noticed before, there's some other ones here. So how about let's go to images, examples. Oh, got a file listing. Go to the parent directory. There's even more stuff. What's this donate? Oh, weird. Next. Okay, yeah. Bullet. Oh, it's a bullet. Oh, it's like a period. Box. Background check. Whoa. Oh, okay, that's the background. Okay, cool. Well, cool. So now that we know all that, the first thing I see is this. So let's go ahead and just paste this into the Google search, because that's a great way to find exploits. And so actually, looking through all of these, most of these are actually like not right. If you go to, oh golly, I think if you look up exploit next to it, simple PHP gal, yeah, so there's a Python command, but it's based off of this exploit right here. And if you look, yeah, down here, it's a remote file inclusion, right? Now what is a remote file inclusion? Well, so we've got site.com, image.php, image. So basically what it's saying is that, I'll do it in here. So what it's saying is that image.php is actually looking for an image, right? And that can be anything. So let's choose like bullet.gif, right? Yeah, so anything really. As you can see, there is an image showing, it's just not there. Now, what happens here in this exploit is that the code is actually reaching out to a URL. And that's not good. Why is that not good? Well, let's say, oh, hey there. There we go. Let's say, like, you know, this is my computer and this is their computer, right? And we'll make this, oh, oops. We'll make mine blue. I like that. And then we'll make theirs red, right? And oh, if it'll Can I? Okay. Yeah, that's me, and I'm doing a dance, I guess. I'm getting really, like, wavy. God forbid a white boy get a little motion. So anyways, this computer right here, this is the one that we're trying to hack into. What they're doing basically is when this is called, and let's say that, like, here, let me set it up real quick. All right. So let's say I set up a Python server right here on port 80. And what this is doing is it's basically setting up like, hey, like, I'm open on port 80. There's a service. So let's say I hypothetically want to reach out and grab something from there, right? So I would do this, and I don't remember exactly what my IP address is. Config 45174. Cool. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. My terminal's been a little weird recently, but yeah. So see, like this. Now, as you can see right here, there's nothing going on, right? But the moment that I hit enter right here, so not only do we have the nmap directory, but we also have all of the other files that are in my directory. And as you can see, it looks like it reached out and tried to grab from my HTTP server. What does this mean? Well, let's say I wanted to grab something like file.txt. And just to show you what file.txt contains, it's just hello, right? So does this mean that we can actually get file.txt from here? Yes, we can. And as you can see, it retrieved it. Now, what do we know? Well, we know that 1, the website runs on PHP, right? 2, there is a RFI vulnerability that runs the web page. 3, it is, well, remote, right? So what does this mean? Well, that means that we can probably inject a malicious PHP script into the website, and that way we'll have a reverse shell. Yay! Okay, this is awesome, right? So with that being said, we have our PHP reverse shell right here, which if you are doing this from Kali Linux, the location of that is just user share web shells PHP and then PHP-reverse shell, right? And you can copy it into here and then move it around. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do that from scratch. So what I think is that, you know, we're gonna send a reverse shell, PHP reverse shell, over this file inclusion vulnerability, right? So now we got a new one. Let's check it out. It's made by Pentest Monkey. So the biggest thing for this, and I'll go over this first. We have to change, what was it, 174 and port 444. So I'm gonna make a couple mistakes here, just so that way whoever's watching this can kind of learn from where I messed up. But let's see. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to run our Python server, right? And then we're going to reach out to here. And remember earlier, what this is basically going to do is it's going to reach out to my thing, my computer. It's going to try and grab that file, okay? Once it reaches back, it's going to run that file through the computer, and then it's going to send a reverse shell back to us. So that way we have access, terminal access to this computer. So as you can see, we're here. And then we have to start a second. Oh my goodness. What's going on? Why is it doing that? Anyways, we have to start a second terminal on port 444. Because that's the listening port we sent, right? So let's go ahead and up here. This should work, right? PHP dash or tac reverse shell.php, right? Bam. I got it. But where's the reverse shell? It's still loading. So the reason that... Oh, I'll let it load. I'm not going to wait any longer. So, anyways, here's what happened. Okay. Basically, if you scroll down to this port, what's happening is that there is probably a firewall blocking any ports that are not open on the device from actually exiting the device. And as we saw earlier from our nmap script, that only leaves a few ports. So it would be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And we can't do 22. We already know we can't do 21 because that's blocked. And then 80, right? So what if we tried 445? Okay. Let's see. Can we change it to 445 and get a response? The reason we're doing this is because we're trying to send it out of a port that's already open on the machine, right? Cool. So let's do server, and then we have to change this to 445. All right. Let's try this again. Boop. Whoa, awesome. Who am I? I'm Apache. All right, so now that we're here, we're Apache. We're in the root directory. One of the first things I like to do is check the home directory for the users. Actually, sorry, cat etc password, because that reveals a lot of information that's good to know. So we can see that root is right here. We've got Michael. That's a user. And then we've got ourselves and MySQL as well. Besides that, that's kind of it. So that's cool. Obviously, usually what I do here is I would run, I would find a directory to run linps, but that's not the current attack vector. You don't need that for this. So we're going to go ahead and check out, since we're Apache, I believe that what would be in our best interest is to check out the actual www directory. So we'll go cd var www, right? All right, so we're here. Cool. HTML. Let's see here. So the first thing I notice is database.php. So let's cat db.php. Oh, I'll be damned. Look at that. So 3 things that are important. One, it's running on the local host right here, 127.0.0.1, which means that we have to run it inside this terminal. So this is a fun little trick you can do, where you call PTY, and PTY is basically like I don't know, plain text, like very nice like shell generator, or like, you know, if you want to have like for example, right now I'm doing bin bash, you can have a better shell, right? All right, so now we have that. Let's see what happens when we run the same commands. And I think that there's a pretty good chance, first off, that it'll work. Okay, So that was the issue. Cool. I learned a thing or two. Awesome. PTY. How interesting is that? That was the only difference. And I completely forgot about that. I guess I just kind of did that instinctively, and then when I didn't see anything happen below here the first time, or I just saw this, but there were no color changes, I just assumed that it didn't. But this is, I guess, a pretty important step, just in a shell. But anyways, now that we're in MySQL, I don't really feel the need to have this top shell. So let's just take this next. So first thing I do in MySQL is show database. And here's all of them. Let's start from the top down. So use simple PHP gal. Cool. Okay. So now we read tables. Oh, so there's a single one. And in order to select the table you want, you do select all, which is the star, from users, and then you add a semicolon. Sweet, so it looks like we got some usernames and passwords. These passwords clearly look base64 encoded. Now, I would get Josh and Serena. However, Michael is the only one I saw in the Etsy password file. So let's go ahead down here. Creds.txt, Michael, right? So we know that he's in there. And then let's go ahead and copy this. And what I like to do is when I don't know what's going on something, when I don't know what's going on in the little jarble of text, I go over to CyberChef. And that's the only reason I do that is because I know that this is probably base64 encoded, right? So then we plop our little magic in here, and what it does is it automatically runs every single possible known value it could be, and then sorts it by what it is. So as you can see right here, Hawk Sydney certified 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and exit out of here. Bye. And then we'll quit out of this. Oh god. Okay. Anyways, nano creds, and then we'll plop this right next to Michael. Cool. Now we have his password, right? Now, what do we remember? Well, oh golly, Snookums has an SSH port open, right? With that, you know that Michael at 192.168, I think it was 190, 190.58, right? Oh, got a hit. Okay. So now we have his password right here. So let's paste it. Nice. Michael. That's awesome. All right. First thing I do is ls. There's your local flag. D. Looks like we're home. So, what can we do as Michael? Well, again, the first thing I like to do is check the Etsy password for users. Yep. Now, for this specific case, what I would do is I would probably run like linpeas, right, in here. However, Michael has something very special that won't get caught on linpeas, and that's this. So if you do ls-la and you do Etsy password, you actually see right here that, you know, it says write in read for root, and then all the other ones are just read, but Michael is actually in the same category as root for the writers, which means that we have writing privileges into the Etsy password file. The reason this is important is because when the system logs in, it checks the Etsy password file first. And if it has the user with their password in there, then you can log in as them. Usually it'll have like an X. So like, you know, if we do this, as you can see, like this X means that the password is hashed and it's probably stored in the etc shadow file, which we don't have access to, right? However, because it goes to etc password first. If you have an OpenSSL, you can use OpenSSL in order to create like a password, like string of characters, and then you can actually put it into etc password. So just to demonstrate that, first thing you're going to want to do in order to make a user in the etc password file is utilize OpenSSL password, and then we'll make our password toilet paper. Actually, we'll just do toilet pee, right? Cool. So you can see here, we got a little jarble of characters that we can use. So next thing, and I actually keep this in a little cheat sheet I have right here. And the reason why is because I like having my little sheet. You know, I like having something that I can go back to and reference. So in this case, as you can see, we are going to echo root 2, the actual password that we just created from OpenSSL. You see how it's not X'd out? It's not an X because it's not hashed, which means that when the server tries to log on, it's not going to check etc shadow, it's going to check this file first. 00 root root directory bin bash, and we're going to put this into etc password. So now let's try and cat etc password. And as you can see at the very bottom, there's our user. Now, how are we going to log in? Root 2. Excuse me. Good golly. It's going to ask for a password. We did toilet p. There we are. Now the root user. cd root. And there's your other proof flag.